good YouTube fight fans all over the world? It's your boy, Real Talk Boxing, and we back at you again. Daniel Dubois, Triple D. Once a quitter, always a quitter. That's the question. What do I truly think about Daniel Dubois quitting last weekend against Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut? Make no mistake about it, I truly believe that he did quit. Proof's in the pudding. I want to give you guys my thoughts on that. And can he come back from this? Or what can we expect from Triple D from now on? I don't know what we can expect. But to answer that question, once a quitter, always a quitter, do I think that not Joe Joyce, but Daniel Dubois is going to fold every time he faces adversity? Do I think he's going to fold every time there's some pushback? There's an obstacle in front of him? Do I think he's going to fold? Time will tell, but in my deep, honest opinion, I would say, no, I don't think he's going to fold. I don't think that he's going to get to a point to where he feels like he has to quit. Because honestly, in my opinion, if he had a really, really good corner, the corner would have stopped that fight to save him from taking a knee and quitting. Because regardless of how you look at it, it did look bad. But do I blame him? No, because someone had to stop that fight. And it just so happened to be Triple D. He is 23 years old, people. Very, very, very young. All right. And has accomplished quite a bit. 15 fights, 14 knockouts, 1 loss now previously. That's a lot for a 23-year-old to accomplish. I believe in Triple D. I honestly thought he was going to win the fight against the Juggernaut. You know, and I know a lot of people may say, oh man, he lost to a big, slow, stiff, not really mobile fighter. But Joe Joyce is huge. And that night, facing Triple D, he knew how to keep his distance and keep Dubois at the end of his heavy, titanic punches. There's nothing worse than a tall, strong man who knows how to keep his distance, who's strong enough to keep you at bay. I, for one, as someone who used to box, used to hate that, literally hate it. And it was something that I found very difficult as a shorter fighter every single time I fought to deal with. I think that Triple D is going to learn from this loss. And I hope his camp and his corner does too. They shouldn't have allowed that man to take it into his own hands to take a knee and quit. They should have done that themselves. Because Daniel Dubois was freaked out. He's never probably faced that. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying, well, Muhammad fought with a broke jaw. There's a lot of fighters who fought with bad cuts, came back to win fights, swollen eyes. One fight in particular that comes to my mind, actually after I saw Triple D quit, was Alfredo Perro versus Laura. If you guys haven't seen that fight, check it out. Alfredo took a lot of punishment in that fight. But later on during the rounds, he started catching up to Laura and actually dropped Laura. But in the meantime, his eye was getting swole bigger and bigger and bigger as the rounds went by. Now, Perro is a tough guy. Not much finesse, not much boxing skill, but just rough and rugged. His name suits him. Perro, dog. One of my favorite fighters, even though he wasn't that good of a fighter. But that man quit. And no one really blamed him. Now, when you're talking about your eye socket and a fracture, first of all, we're not in these men's shoes in that ring. We don't know the pain or level of pain that they're going through. We just don't know. So, did Triple D do a good thing by taking a knee? I honestly think he did. because he's still young. And he has a lot of years ahead of him in the game should he preserve himself. Now, if you don't preserve yourself, if you don't save yourself from a life-changing injury, who else will? So honestly, I look down on his corner for not stopping that fight for him. That way he could have said, hey man, I was willing to go. I was willing to, fight through this pain, this swollen eye, this fractured orbital bone, or whatever the case may have been. But they didn't even give him that. They allowed this young man to take a knee and quit. So I say shame on his corner for that, to be honest with you. I'm not going to talk down on Triple D because, yeah, he did quit. But I think it was the right choice because when you got a man as big as the juggernaut in front of you who's teeing off on you. And another thing, and this just shows the experience of Triple D. It discouraged him to know that he could not hurt Joe Joyce. And for an experienced seasoned fighter, when they see that they can't hurt another fighter, what should you do? Stop trying to hurt him. If you're out boxing him and you have better mechanics and you're more athletic, just outbox him. Because a win is a win regardless. I don't care what the crowd says. A win is a win regardless. So take off the power. Stop putting yourself in harm's way and box him. Move. Shoot your shots. Get in and get out. But that's what a seasoned fighter would have done. But Triple D's not seasoned. And that was one of his downfalls right there. He kept running into freaking jabs, left after left, right after right, jab after jab. He kept running into them. And when you running into punches delivered by someone like the Juggernaut, that's bad. No bueno. At all. So, he should learn from this. Now I hope his eye heals good. And I hope his corner and his team smartens up. Because they could have saved that guy from quitting. Because he would have got more credit for saying, hey, I wanted to continue, but my corner decided to stop it. So, I can't do anything about that. Go back to the drawing board and I'm back at it. Now this is going to be in the back of his head. This is either going to make him or break him. But I honestly, in my opinion, don't think it's going to break him. I see a bright future ahead of Triple D. And I'm just anxious to see him heal and get back in the ring and see how he develops after this loss. So do I think he's going to quit every time he faces adversity? In my heart of hearts, I say no. And I hope I'm right. But never mind what I think and my opinion. What about yours? And oh yeah, I had somebody comment in my comments below. I don't know which video it was, that they agree with everything I said, but they didn't like the fact that I didn't pronounce my words correctly. I'm from the South, y'all. I'm from Texas. Okay? Down South people, Southern people, we are known for having terrible grammar and not being able to pronounce our words correctly. I have an accent. So for people who feel the same as this person, I apologize. I'm going to try to work on that. And I also had somebody in the comments say, what is this? Some old man, fat, slapping a bag, learn how to punch correctly. Well, I got something for you too, young man. It's coming. It's coming. Leave your comment below. Let me know. As always, respect all, fear none, and God bless. Real talk boxing, baby. We out.